Welcome to this video focused on revision strategies. Today we're going to be looking at how to maximise our revision here at St Peter's using the strategy of mind maps. You might be asking, why is revision so important? This isn't just about exam success. It's about ensuring that you're attentive to your own learning and showing a hopeful attitude by ensuring that you fully participate in your own progress and investing in your future. Effective revision is about helping you to be a confident and independent learner who'll be able to take these skills and apply them to all areas of your life. One of my favourite books asks, who are you trying to become this year and what actions will reinforce that identity? This is an opportunity for you to make a vote for the person that you want to be. So if we're aiming to boost your revision and make your notes stick, mind maps are one of the most effective tools for organising ideas and improving memory. Research shows that combining words and visuals can increase recall by up to 32%, as opposed to just rereading your notes, or even worse, just highlighting some bits and thinking that that will be enough. Today, we're going to show you how to create high-quality mind maps that will really work and boost your revision. Mind maps are part of the transformation process of the revision cycle. So you should have already identified the material that you want to learn. You'll have gone through your exam questions, you'll have gone through your books, your marking, your primary materials, and have identified what it is that needs to go into this mind map. Once we've then transformed it, we've turned the core materials into a new format in our mind map. You'll then use blurting and other strategies to check your recall before going on to application and having a go at some exam questions, some practice work to see whether you can actually improve that learning and whether you can apply it effectively. If you can't, you then identify the material and we go round again. But the mind maps are all about ensuring that you are creating as many pathways as possible to help you to revise this information. So a mind map is a visual way to organise information. You begin with a central idea, then branch out into your main topics and subtopics. It's all about showing connections and making that learning active and showing that application. So here are the key features of a great mind map. You need to start with a central topic. Be really clear about what it is you're going to be able to fit onto a piece of A3 paper. Don't try and do too much. You're never going to fit a whole GCSE in there, so think about making sure it is nice and clear. You then need to branch out logically with your main ideas and then sub-ideas. Use keywords, not paragraphs. This isn't an exam response. This is about identifying and transforming that key information. We'd often recommend that you add colour coding and images to make it more memorable. That can really help you, especially if they're meaningful images to you. And then you need to show your connections between ideas with lines or arrows to help you with those synthesis skills. These techniques are backed by research like Tony Buzan's work on mind mapping and dual coding theory. It's about combining visuals and text, which helps your brain store and retrieve information more easily. We want to create as many neural pathways as we can that this information exists on to maximise the chance that when you're in that exam hall, you will be able to retrieve that information. So let's have a look at some examples from St Peter's. Remember, mind maps are entirely cross-curricular. You do not have to restrict them to just certain subjects. This is a student example looking at GCSE RE. Here you can see we've got clear categories, effective layout, and use of dual coding to help retention. This is an example from the science department looking at biology GCSE. And this one really focuses on layers of meaning and making those connections between different areas to show that how the different ideas come together to make one cohesive body of knowledge. This is a collaborative digital effort from the Film Studies Department, which shows the different areas, influences and topics for discussion, in this case revising Shaun of the Dead, particularly using imagery effectively to really look at the depth and breadth of knowledge that is needed. Now let's have a look at this process in action so you can see exactly what goes into making an effective mind map. I have put my money where my mouth is and I have decided to model this for you. So this is 15 minutes of me making a mind map. So you can see here, firstly, I've identified my information. I've got my notes and PowerPoints, my book. These are all my core primary knowledge, and of course my highlighters. So once I've got that all organised and I've identified the material I'm going to need, I can then start on my mind map proper. So here I've started with some basic ideas, so key themes, key appearances of this character in the play, to enable me to create an organisational structure before I begin. Now you can see I'm going back to my primary sources before I go too far. I'm not trying to do blurting here. This isn't just a memory test. This is about making sure I have all the information I need. So you should be using your notes and materials. I'm then going into my topics and subtopics, and you can see here I'm making connections, broadening out ideas, and starting to use colour coding so that I can see the connections between different elements of my mind map. Now, as I say, I've only given myself 15 minutes for this. This is a topic I know exceptionally well. I've taught this play for many years, but I'm not actually going to get finished in these 15 minutes. It's important to remember that this is a process that you need to devote time to do effectively. And what it will end up looking like. So the outcome of those 15 minutes is this, and as you can see, this is still very much a work in progress. You have to be aware that mind maps are not a quick process. They should be something that you invest time and energy in order to transfer all that primary knowledge into one cohesive place. It is not a quick blurting activity, and it's really important that you are using the right strategy at the right time. So what makes mind maps really effective? Try and keep consistent colour coding across maps. If you keep all of your key vocabulary in, say, yellow, case studies in green, it would just help you with knowing what that information looks like and where those should come on your different mind maps. Try not to overcrowd your materials. There's only so much you're going to be able to fit onto a piece of A3. So think really carefully about what it is that you want to put on there. So for example, if I were going to be doing a mind map for a main character in one of the texts I teach, I would probably have 3 or 4 different ones for different aspects of that character or for different points in that particular narrative. Don't worry about trying to fit everything onto one page. It's about making it useful, not just making it short. Try and group your ideas together. This is called chunking. So you can really show that synthesis and idea and connections across ideas. Remember, there's a good chance that you may well end up having the same material on several different mind maps because it will be relevant in different areas. That is fine. That's not wasted time. That is about you showing you understand those connections. You can also use your mind maps to test yourself. Can you recreate it from memory using blurting? Can you identify then the material that you still don't know, fill it in, have another go? Use these systems in tandem to help you to improve. And there's also the question of paper or digital. Okay, you need to give yourself enough time to do these well, and it's important that you make sure that you are doing the very best that you can do. It doesn't matter if it is paper or digital. What matters is that you do it yourself. You will not find using someone else's mind map, something you've got offline, or using one of your friends nearly as effective. So often it's the actual process that makes it work. The important thing to remember is that revision is only as good as the work that you put in. High quality materials that you have produced lead to high quality revision. So now it's your turn.